Alright guys, we're back. Hello, and I guess part of why this took so long was they did interviews at the end of the last series and interviews at the start of this new one. So we finally have everyone in the lobby. Coral Carnage Knockout is the map. Players are spamming go, 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 go. It's going to be MarineLorD versus DnS in a TvP.
Alright. And we don't have a map intro.
No, we don't.
And he got like...
Sneeze? Are you going to sneeze? Oh.
No, I already sneezed. But I got like 15 degrees hotter during that break. I swear to God.
Really? Because maybe it was just me.
You've been here this entire time. That makes some sense, Rifkin. Please. Please. Please.
Okay.
It's because, like,
yeah.
where my room is, like, the sun at a certain point.
Actually,
didn't. Like, right there.
I thought your parents did something where they, like, tinted your windows in a certain way, or didn't you have to...
Yeah, they tinted my windows, but that doesn't help.
Oh, my bad. I thought maybe keep the sun out or something. I don't know
I thought
how
so too,
works.
and then it didn't. So.
Have you ever considered closing your blinds?
Oh, they are closed. The sun is actually just literally like that powerful, and I have white blinds with white curtains. So.
White power. All right, that's what I heard. In the bottom left side of Coral Carnage Knockout, it's gonna be the red Ro8 against Cell Authorities DnS.
Well, I don't see you on this list. Oh, because you're number 8. Ah, you're at the last. Sorry. In the top right, as the blue Terran, it is MarineLorD.
Is that at all necessary to rub in my face? Like what?
You've been number 3 or 4 the last.
You're 8th on the drop down this Rifkin. What a loser.
What a loser. Hey, this is the first time we haven't seen Dusk Towers in the first game.
Yeah, also Coral Carnage Knockout's got some interesting dynamics to it. We've seen more recently really disgusting backdoor proxies and just Terran attacks that involve rushing through those back rocks into the main. I don't know that either of these players are going that direction with it. Frankly, as much as it really sucks to say, we don't get to see a lot of MarineLorD. DnS is pro, so I could care less. But like we actually don't get to see a lot of MarineLorD because he was strictly saving himself for a lot of WCS events. But we've seen a lot of what DnS is doing. So this this seems so silly, but a proxy robo is, in my opinion, probably one of the strongest things you can do versus a Terran on this map. Because the worst part about this is scouting it is really fickle. When you come into the base with the SCV like this, the Cybercore finishes, and if you can stay around long enough, the question goes like, is he going for a Nexus? If MarineLorD had gone to the back of the mineral line and confirmed there was no second pylon, that might raise some suspicions. Now, it's not a robo, it's a Stargate, but the same deal applies. That proxy can be quite powerful. But MarineLorD is still not confirmed that there's only one pylon. He has confirmed that there's only one gateway, and to him that might be, well, I don't have to worry about a lot of aggression, which is not the case.
A proxy robo on this map would be really cool.
This is so cool on DnS. He's faking that low ground pylon attack. MarineLorD's like, pause, please, and he'd get up and slap you. No. But, okay, so this is a fake out. This is entirely a fake out. He wants MarineLorD to think that he's dealt with whatever's here on the front lines, whatever is coming. Hotkey is a problem, I guess. And frankly, this is too weird for him to assume that this was the case on one gateway. That SCV really should have scouted the back. I'm surprised it didn't. So with this happening, now we got the Stargate coming up next. There's a Reaper made, and there's not going to be enough Marines in play. His only hope of stopping this Oracle from killing him is a Widow Mine. And even that might not be done in time. With how close this Stargate is, it could potentially focus it down before it has a chance to burrow.
Yeah, this is really on MarineLorD though, like just to make everyone well aware, like not to scout that entire full base and figure out something fishy is going on. It's absolutely his fault. And even like to keep the SCV in a natural and kind of like go back and check would have been more helpful.
I like that. He very much intentionally, DnS that is, targeted 3 different SCVs. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a misclick. He did it because he wanted the Oracle to be able to one-shot them instead of take 2 shots, I think. I'm guessing that's enough damage.
Oh, he wants to end the game.
Right? Yeah, it's gonna go for the Marines. Oracles have a silly amount of energy, so it's nowhere close to being out of juice just yet. It's gonna come over here and easily kill some SCVs, trying to get that starport up and running. We got a second Oracle on the way, and even if that Widow Mine comes out, frankly, idiots with a mothership core is acceptable. Yeah. They can take a hit.
Yeah, it was low on shield, so that was like, oh my goodness, but it does take the hit, and the second Oracle is on its way out, and I mean, there's a second Widow Mine too, so this might just be enough not to force a tap out, but 7 workers already dead. Not looking so great for MarineLorD.
You can take that Oracle without energy, fly it over top of the SCVs, try and trigger some splash damage. I mean, they are all so incredibly low. He doesn't target the Widowmine that's burrowing, so he can't actually kill it now. But it's not in position to necessarily defend. That first one is, though, and I don't think he remembers.
Yeah.
But knowing it's on cooldown comes with the second Oracle. He's actually going to kill this Widowmine. Should have killed the Widowmine. What did you do?
Ah! That was the second time that micro was questionable from DnS, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like the stuttering of the Oracle is really very odd both times.
In fairness, he was kind of bouncing around with a Reaper back at home. There was some annoyance he had to deal with for certain, but I don't think that should have cost him two of his, well, I guess 1.5 of his Oracles, you could say. But either way, like, he did throw a Nexus now behind it. He's taking a third right now. The damage he did may not have been game-ending here and now, but it was certainly enough to get him a bit of a lead. Now, MarineLorD has better money thanks to the way mules work, but his production is absolutely shot. Like, it was delayed and stalled out for so long. A Phoenix is supposed to be able to beat a Viking 101. I don't know why he disengaged.
I guess he just really didn't. I mean, you rarely see that dynamic, so he didn't know. He just kept attacking that fast.
Didn't know or didn't want to just waste the Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah. Well, oh well. So it's unfortunate because that could have been, an Oracle still running free, taking down Marines as they pop out or SCVs as they build things. But he is getting more Phoenix, and while a Widowmine will, make you second guess going into an SCV line to pick up with a Phoenix, actually won't entirely deter it. So you kind of need a missile turret for that. MarineLorD, I mean, he's in a very tricky spot. He's getting a third CC. He's getting these units that, they're not going to be very good at pushing, but they are good defensively, like Vikings and tanks and, of course, bunkers as well. But that's giving a lot of time for DnS to harass and takes the Widowmine shot, as well as get his own third base and, production set up.
Oh, Viking, please. You could have killed either of the other two.
Right? That was pretty bad. And now the shield has regen, so... Not gonna happen anymore. This is actually a game of very questionable micro. I feel like if either one had perfect micro, which, doesn't usually happen, but I feel like this has just been an extreme case. It could have happened. This could have been Sealess Phoenix. This could have been the Oracle's actually ending the game, to be honest. Like, that could quickly snowballed if there wasn't that odd stuttering. But it is still a game that is in DNS's favor.
Yeah, and even just getting here and picking up a few more SCVs is really nice. It's not devastating MarineLorD, obviously, but it's left him with a very low worker count. Third CC just now turning into an orbital, still not on location. We got an Oracle heading up there. In fact, it might be best just putting a stasis ward down so that MarineLorD has to burn a scan or sacrifice units to actually take that base. It's got the energy for Revelation, though, which wouldn't be too bad either. So MarineLorD forced to play really defensive, and we got tanks set up behind a bunker. An awkward wall is coming down. There's a Widowmine still in this mineral line, so going here could be dangerous.
Yeah. But it's going to be very shortly, not about the air anymore. The Phoenix have been kind of cute coming after the Oracles. The Oracles obviously did a lot of damage, but the production set up for Adepts just running in here is looking to be pretty good. Resonant Glaives, an upgrade, a lot of gateways off of not quite a fully saturated third base, but getting there for DNS. And MarineLorD, he's gonna know he's in trouble, but it is a map that, break on these rocks. You can try and get away with your third base. You can try and just play such a long game that this early game, doesn't matter.
I would be so thrilled if this went to, 5 base versus 5 base, splitting the map, got carriers out, got Vikings out, whatever the case may be.
That would be interesting.
Hey man, it'd be sick. Don't take that away, okay?
No, it would be interesting.
It's my fantasy. You stay out.
Oh, okay. Well, the robotics bay is a little bit interesting from DNS. So the War Prism has just been made, just finished up. It's going to carry a couple of Adepts over, and I guess if you just want to not deal with tanks, you can go around the tanks.
Problem with this, though, is the fact that there are Vikings in play. It means there's a way to actually deal with a War Prism. So those Phoenix from earlier, unfortunately, while patrolling now, kind of need to get over here and protect.
Yeah, they could escort this War Prism and even help out the War Prism, too. Like, if 7 Marines are trying to focus fire it, pick up all the Marines, and you're dead. That Oracle go in there actually probably saves the War Prism. Oh, never mind. Well, depending, I guess, on what his plan was. It's going to go into the back anyway.
And this is a lot of backspace on Coral Finish Knockout, so kind of just avoid the missile turret if necessary. Might not warp in, but can still provide an evacuation for the Adepts if this gets a little bit too messy. That one Adept looks like it will go down. Cancels the transfer, though, in favor of killing 12 more workers. And I gotta give it to him. Like, yeah, there's Terran mules, there's band-aids, all this good stuff, but he's consistently keeping MarineLorD's income low, even with mules being what they are, from just these relentless worker pickoffs. Oh, awkward.
All right, so the war person gets taken care of. That's going to be, of course, less things for MarineLorD to worry about. It's not that, Boros can't just make another one. But right now, the robos are being used for something else, and that's double Colossus production. So, interesting to see them come out.
Those are the Vikings from earlier going to pay off pretty nicely, actually.
Yeah, 3 Vikings.
He doesn't know it, but this is one of the most cost-effective things he could build this game.
MarineLorD is so far away from being scary. Like stim and combat shields aren't done. His upgrades are, whatever, usual. His tanks, which were, they can be a problem. 2-base tank pushes can be very, very scary. 3-base tank pushes, they'll help, they'll anchor the push a little bit, but that's all still like a lot earlier than what's occurring in this game. You didn't lose so many workers, 38 workers, dear God, earlier on to hold this off. And if he pushes into the middle of the map, DnS is gonna wreck his army.
Yeah, DnS is it's the composition that's so sick right now. But those tanks will zone out most, like tanks, Liberties, and Vikings. Like he's got an anti-Colossus army. What he doesn't have is an anti-adept, anti-stalker army.
Yeah. This should just be, if he loses his army, it would just be a tap out point, but actually finds a choke here, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, no, don't take this.
Also,
oh, God.
Interesting to see how shades work on typical rocks.
Actually, so, yeah, I'm wondering if you transfer that through. We talked about this, right? Like, the rocks in the beta used to kill the shade. I guess they don't anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so that was basically the cleverest move that MarineLorD could have made right there, but he still has to deal with a much bigger army, and choke's only going to get him so far. It's still 20 armor supply difference. You got upgrades now in favor of DnS for 10 seconds more, and you still have that pylon to work with and a war prison to work with now as well. As I do think a Dark Shrine finished up. It did.
Yeah, it did. All right, so with the Dark Shrine potentially in play, yeah, there might be some like backdoor Dark Templar. More likely than not, there'll be Archons associated with the army. But I am curious. First 3 are coming in.
Actually, he has 2 with the army already. They're hidden beneath those.
Oh,
Colossus.
I see. Yeah, the little blue glow. My bad.
But 3 did get warped in. I believe in that proxy panel I was talking about. So there's slow warp-ins, but it doesn't matter. Like nothing's scaring them away. So they just need to. I mean, they could break on the rock. Maybe Riddler isn't paying attention, but also just go through the regular way. Or get picked up by the War Prism. That's right.
Oh, getting back to this main's tough as hell, though.
He's losing... Yeah, losing his missile turret back on the main base, and Warbands are coming through, too. There actually is a sizable army ready, though, stimming twice to get it back up here.
He was trying to focus down the missile turret. He does actually keep that alive. That's pretty impressive. War Prism's going to be driven off. Back at home, he also stopped the attack, this backdoor attack set up over here now on this side. I mean, DnS is being pulled all over the place right now. The hardest part of this is being in the right place with the right amount of units. He's got an army that can fight MarineLorD in any capacity, but not if he splits them too low or too wrong.
MarineLorD has gotten the same army supply, by the way. For so long, he was down 40 army supply, then 20. Now at even army supply, the triple post overcharge is going to go ahead and deter that push, but he has an army to work with that I actually win in the proper scenario, but unfortunately it was split in 2 and both armies get destroyed.
Well, only one army got destroyed, the other one got pushed back, but up here he's got adepts in the main once again, and that War Prism was never fully taken care of, so continuing to just be annoying. Whether it's picking up Marines on the reinforcement point or just killing SCVs, you can't ignore a War Prism in your main base. I'm also a little surprised that A, DnS never had the Stargate killed, but B, he never has used it again since. I think more Phoenix wouldn't be a bad idea. And oh my god, is that the gold base being taken in an actual game?
He's feeling pretty confident, as well he should be. He just denied 2 pushes, and actually is going to be probably able to catch these units. Oh, well, or they catch the Colossus. Hey,
uh-oh, this is the problem. He should not have lost anything to those Liberators from the back door, but one of the Colossus is going to go down. 2 of them simultaneously as the Marauders focus them. However, the ground army, the Gateway army, might still be just a little too big. That's so many adept zombie grub.
Yeah, nothing to really take care of them either. No EMPs, no Widowmine shots, just a small bio army.
GG. It's funny because a lot of that stuff, there's just too much damage. Like, there's so many medevacs in the sky from MarineLorD, and that's normally a good thing, but with adepts like 2 to 3 shotting a lot of your units, you don't have time to heal.
Yep.
By the way, shoutouts and thank you to Fractal Cactal for the 15-month resub. And we had Bizarro Riomar donate earlier. I had missed this. I had forgotten because we discussed it during the break. He says, bye, Rifkin. Wait, I forgot to put my money on blue. Okay, bye. Also, my butt is flat. Bye. It's like the most nervous and horrible Riomar impression of all time.
I'm Riomar. I swear.
Yeah. All right, so 475 then on blue. White's still winning like a monster. 540 on whites, 475 on blue, 200 on red, 130 on purple, 50 on pink, 3.14 on black, and 2.71 on blonde. Are you impressed that I knew what the letters were?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, yes, I was very impressed.
Whatever, it's fine. Okay.
I'm sorry.
But Frozen Temple next.
It was whatever.
Let's get this next man.
Care about life anymore.
Guy was arrested for match fixing. Who cares?
Oh.
Whoa!
Oh.
Awkward. All right, so Frozen Temple is not a terrible map, but this is still one I think I favor the protest on just a little bit going forward. I'm really sad, by the way. So I made a tweet about being excited. 22 followers from 8K, and then fucking like 5 people unfollowed me.
People don't like when people pay attention to their follower count.
I try not to, but I get excited when I get close to like bigger milestones. Like I don't care about every 100, but every 1,000, like that's pretty cool. Whatever.
I'm just saying that's what generally happens.
Okay, well if you guys aren't jerks in chat, you should follow me on Twitter at riff_kings, RIF_KINGZ, because I'm almost there. All right, welcome back to the Top Dogs round of 8. It's an O gaming tournament, and we are BaseTradeTV. Rifkin and Zombie Grub coming at you. In the bottom right corner of the map, we've got the red Protoss against all authorities, DnS.
In the top left, as the Blue Terran, it is Millennium's MarineLorD.
Okay, now it's definitely worth noting that DnS had a very nice game 1. Cool moves with Colossus, great early game damage. But that's not something you're often going to find yourself being ahead against MarineLorD with. He's a fantastic player, good or bad, passion or not. It's just, he's the type of guy you'll never easily find this opening against. So I'm really glad DnS was able to take advantage of them. But we'll see if he's able to get to that same position here in game 2. Now it is a best of 5, so there's quite a few games to go. But, man, Colossus are just... It's funny, there's such nasty units... But as we saw at the very end of the game, while it wasn't enough to win, how quickly they can be dispatched by such a small amount of units.
Yeah. They're in a difficult place, and it was interesting to see them disappear for about a month after reappearing for about a month.
Yeah,
and
Colossus
then...
are like constantly getting lost, warping in or something.
Yeah, they're constantly getting lost back on Ire. But now that this is the third Protoss I believe we've seen go for Protoss, or for Colossus, that is. So I guess they're just... It was always a little bit baffling as to why they weren't just an automatic, like, accessory, and like, actually like an accessory, because it was really... It's always going to be about getting that bulky gateway army first, because you just can't play like you did in Heart of the Swarm and get to Colossus as soon as possible. Like, that certainly is going to work. But later on, when you have a maxed out army, they put it effective against Liberator build, so that's not their weakness. And they add that general splash damage that even if it is reduced, and even if a concave can still work out in the Terran's favor, that, you know, consistent splash is usually a good thing. But they're instead just used every once in a while.
So quick note, I see Poppin' Capsio either super trolling us in chat or legitimately got a weird commercial after the intro started. We've been trying to be very diligent about this, guys. No ads were played. So if you ever see something like that come up, if you ever see commercials over gameplay footage, please report it to Twitch, because we don't condone that at all.
Yeah, that's just no gusto. I
mean, we've done this for like 3.5 years, and I've only ever accidentally played ads like maybe a handful of times. But today I definitely did not. And I guess people are still asking what happened to the computer, just kind of while we're chilling for the openings. Worth noting, DnS, by the way, is going for Twilight Council mixed with the Robo. But I don't know what happened to the computer, frankly. Something broke. Something definitely broke, because there was like smoke that came out of the machine. But despite not working all day yesterday, I woke up this morning, I kind of forgot that it broke, and I just turned it on out of habit, and it worked. And we're casting, and everything seems fine. So, I don't know. I'm scared.
Don't question it, it'll be fine.
Shut up! Don't question it.
Yeah, something like that. Well, hopefully everything is fine. Although that doesn't sound like some one-off thing, but you know what? Technology.
I was told it was probably a capacitor on the motherboard, and to look for that, but I don't know what it looks like. I'll have to Google it after.
Yes, the capacitor.
Yeah, the flux
exhaust
capacitor.
port.
It's the thing that lets us go forward in time.
Yes.
Back to the future.
Right.
No, but I've had a lot of people, like, this is what's wonderful about streaming, I guess, sometimes. It's good and bad, right? Like, there's so many people willing to help, but there's so many people who give me a million different things to look over. So I'm like, okay, guys, calm down. Like, I don't know what any of this means. I've got 40 people telling me 5 different things. Like,
Yeah, okay.
All right, anyways, with the blink being what it is, we saw the power Little Bow brought out earlier today, just going blink into blink into blink into blink, and it's something that's certainly really annoying to deal with as a Terran player. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But I'm wondering how DNS plans to use it, because when I saw that robo come down, I was expecting like crazy fast warp prisms. I was expecting some sort of harass, but it's a third base and observers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Heart of the Swarm. I mean, there's kind of 2 ways to play this style. There's the offensive and there's the defensive. Defensively, obviously, it's going to be very great at taking control of the map for a little while, dealing with drops a little bit better. Offensively, it can just fall flat in its face, you know, like you miss blink once, or they have a big bioarmor because you went for like a 3 racks, and suddenly you don't have very good units, but it can buy you a lot of time for the third base. It can actually get you a lot of momentum, and of course, and just win you games like Lil Bal did. But the defensive one, like, if you go defensively, blink stalkers, poke a little bit, prod a little bit, and then go for a third base, double forge upgrades. I don't know why I couldn't say forge. And then as everything glaives, like, you can keep the Terran on their back foot for so long, and without really ever committing very much. Like, this is not a very big blink stalker force, but
No.
someone who doesn't have stim or combat shields, it's still a scary one, and you have to take it seriously. Oh, psych. Super buying.
Just pick up the medevac. Nicely done. Nothing inside of it, but good pickup nonetheless.
That was. Did he skip the mothership core until now?
I believe
no,
so.
he lost one. He lost it to the. I'm gonna guess the Widowmine drops, actually. They must have
Probably.
soaked him up, because no probes died that we was alerted in the game heart.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm wondering about, though, so we've focused, I guess, a lot more on this and less on what MarineLorD's been doing. Because for DNS, up until this point where there's tanks and medevacs, I was really worried for MarineLorD. But he's got this on lockdown. It's a bit of an awkward, funny wall coming down, but he's got a turret, most importantly. This is not just protecting his air, but detection as well.
Interesting. I mentioned Resonant and Glaives, but it's actually going to be charged and just a few Adepts to harass with.
Adepts to the main, well, Stalkers, like, if this pulls back, like, you drop the Adepts off, you put those in the main, you bring them, the Warp Prism and Warp directly into the mineral line, or even on top of the tanks if you're able to. I mean, I can see charge slots working. They don't need a lot of upgrades to be good versus Terran, and they're really good versus Marauders, which you would normally see a lot more of in this situation, but MarineLorD has strictly gone, like, Marine Tank. But this is like a TvT build he's playing with right now.
Well, dropping is a little bit fancy to take care of this Warp Prism. Doesn't really work out. Again, no stim, and still no stim on the way is just, it actually looks a little bizarre. You know, I said no stim about a minute ago. I figured it would have started by now. It does not. Oh, it gets kind of, I guess, sticked over by Frozen Temple's lack of space behind its bases. It's a little unfortunate. But there's stim, combat shields, and then the +1 armor, which I believe this is what it timed out to be last game, but honestly I thought that was more because of the earlier harassment, like losing so many SCVs. But I guess this is just the build, so it's not very aggressive at all, is it? MarineLorD has to stay back at home unless he can find an abusive position with tanks. But if you're going to get a third base, you know, and you're going to get tanks, I guess they are going to cover quite a wide margin.
He spent a lot of time, like, just constantly poking in here, and the Stalkers, while not dying, they've kind of confirmed, like, the tanks are rooted in place. I don't know what he's expecting to really do with this on the side of the field, but we got the Fusion Core on the way in. I want to get hyped. I want to say battle cruisers, but we all know it's just Liberator range every single time.
Yeah. MarineLorD is playing probably the most defensive macro Terran I've actually ever seen. Well, but unless they're actually going for air mech or mech. Okay, but bio Terran I've seen, because getting to 3 bases and then into Liberators and not attacking at all is not surprising. We see that on Dusk and Orbital and whatnot. But is he a 4th base already down?
Well, I was just going to comment. It's a 4th base, and it's a fusion core, all finished before stim as well.
Ha.
This may have been a mistake. It may have been on purpose, but the point of it is, like, MarineLorD was forced to play this weird back row focus style because he couldn't get aggressive, not without stim.
It does. The thing is that it timed out like that last game, but maybe it was just coincidental. The last game was because literally damage. This game was because of a mistake. I don't know, but it's pretty crazy to say that Fusion Core before Stim is finished up. Stim's still not finished up, by the way.
I gotta imagine at some point too, the Marines are gonna be like, look, we researched Stim on the fast 105 maps we've been on. Can just maybe one time somebody bring a Stim pack with them to the next map, so that we don't have to research
That'd be great. Yeah.
All right, so the War Prism to the north could have been a threat, especially to the 4th base coming down. But really, first off, I like the deep out of MarineLorD to seize this coming. It's not going to devastate him here. It's not going to supply block him. But this was that warning saying, hey, there's an army coming. The Adepts, oh, it's Zealots. I forgot. That's right, he went for charge. I keep forgetting this. It's such a weird thing to do, but charge lots hitting that front line. Widowmine's going to burrow. Maybe some friendly fire. Tanks are also getting some friendly fire in too, but there's not that many Immortals, and DnS is losing out on everything.
It's been questionable of an engagement. I mean, it was before 2-2. It was into a wide concave where you knew MarineLorD was ready. Maybe he just really wanted to distract.
He was planning to play from behind. That's why he went for the Dark Shrine. That's how that saying goes, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had to put yourself behind before you really used the Dark Shrine. Well,
yeah.
Regardless of how the fight went, and it did go pretty poorly, the harassment did a decent job, but not to make up for how poorly that engagement went.
Now it's like 2-to-1 army supply, and MarineLorD's coming in with a bit of a stomp.
That was so questionable to engage. You know, even with the upgrades, I think it would be a questionable engagement. I would have expected to see storms, you know? I was actually looking for them, like, surely a storm, right? And it didn't. It was just charge that Archon he was hoping for. The DTs are going to be used defensively, hoping he doesn't realize that they're here, but he does. Scan goes down. Probably for both them and the Observer.
Horrible timing resubs for 3 months. I love that name. It's not necessarily a good name, but you know, I like it.
Yeah. I think MarineLorD just wins this game.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And this is I didn't think DnS had a terrible idea to play about it, but the fact that they both ended up playing more macro than I expected from the get-go. I mean, again, like, it was a fast Twilight Council. It was a fast Robo. And then a 3rd base. And then it was like 4 bases from MarineLorD. Like, this really wasn't a normal TvP, if we're going to be honest about things. But MarineLorD reacted well. He took a good fight. He never got caught by those Blink Stalkers or that Warp Prism. He never had his pants down at any point in this game. Except for maybe now with his DT, but even then, that's not really going to win him. Like, DnS is not going to win and bring this game back with a single DT.
Yeah. I guess DnS was banking a little bit, so he threw down another 4th base on the right side, and he even, you know, remembers to start his 3-3, hoping that upgrade can eventually get him a fight here, but if he had, you know, 20 more army supply, or rather he lost 20 less army supply in that major fight, I could have seen him, like, holding after losing a 4th base. In fact, he's actually apparently going to hold this push, but there's more reinforcements.
Right, and the big thing is this took down 2 bases with it. This wasn't just like one little bit of harass. Like, he just straight up killed 2 whole bases mining for DnS.
Yeah. So it's
a lot of probes too on the retreat. Oh, no.
It is game over for DnS. I'm sure he's kicking himself because he said it was a bit of an odd game, but it was a game where both of them were like, you know, they got to a very steady, safe point, and all they had to do was not take a bad engagement, and then that's exactly what he did.
Well, that's going to tie things up now 1-1, and this will also make us take a bit of a break. Now, again, O-Gaming's being pretty liberal with their time estimates, so hopefully this will be just a couple of minutes, but if it's longer, please don't panic, and we'll be back in a few. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, it's tied up 1-1 in this best of 5 for the Top Dogs round of 8. Thank you guys for watching. It is the last best of 5 today. The semifinals will not be playing out today. That'll be next week. Unfortunately, we won't be here to cover them, but I hope you've enjoyed the tournament so far. I gotta say though, like, again, Denver definitely the MVP of today. I think Get that highlight clip. It's already got like 1,000 views on it on SC2 highlights. Like, damn, that's crazy. So if you guys missed it, make sure to check it out. But yeah, in the bottom left side, he's tied up in the series 1-1. It is going to be against all authorities. DnS.
Denver on the brain.
DnS. Dennis. There we go.
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, it is Millennium's MarineLorD.
All right. So for MarineLorD, I don't know. Again, like I expect him to be the better player in the series. I don't know. I've got more faith in him from what we've seen in the past, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
DnS came out of the gate strong, though, in that first map with aggression, and Invader is a map that does not contour well to Terran. So whether he wants to get aggressive again or whether he just plans to play, like, quote-unquote normal and abusive, either way should be fine, I feel. This is not a great map to be forced to play on.
Well, yeah, I think the problem is that, yeah, there's just... The two GSL maps have really screwed everyone's map choices. Do you know what they took out? I guess Prion and...
Wait, what?
Did they take out 2 maps and put the GSL maps in?
No, I think they just added them in on top of everything else, because it's only 2 maps.
Oh, well in that case, then I'm not sure why these keep getting played.
Maybe they did. I don't actually know the map pool. I'm guessing. Because it wouldn't be hard to just make the map pool 9 maps instead of 7, and just give 1 extra veto.
Yeah, that's certainly true. It would be really bizarre to see, because we've seen maps you just usually don't see, but I guess that's also because it's a best of 5 and a best of 3.
Well, I need to do unorthodox sellout shout out real quick. Thank you, Thanos Kakardikidis, for following me on Twitter. I'm so close. I'm so close, guys. I'm so close.
I looked in the Wikipedia, by the way. They did take out Prion Terraces and Arena. I'm a good guesser.
Okay, well, Arena, I'm like 50-50 on like taking that out. Prion, I actually can get behind. I think the gold-based premise was fun for a bit, but it's rather stupid in most instances now.
I guess. Well, Invader, actually making... Oh my god, it's like making an Invader with the scouting right now.
It is.
Missing a claw, though.
I think that's part of... I guess he just lost... I don't know, he lost it in the war.
Lost it in the war, in the Great War.
Somehow,
anyway.
Something that gets 1 shot managed to survive some damage.
Yep. Exactly. So, anywho, I know what you mean when you were talking earlier about, like, MarineLorD. You just have more faith in him because of his previous qualifications, his previous wins. Like, you think of overall, even if this guy stopped playing, which is, you know, the rumor, same as Drogo, that he would still have a certain level that is just good, basically. But it's, I don't know, like, he won last game, and that's great, so this, you know, should be like an even series, but really, I didn't feel like it was too... It wasn't MarineLorD winning, it was DnS losing, that old chestnut. And I think that DnS has smacked himself over that and shouldn't be making the same mistake again if it goes to the similar game. But MarineLorD is changing things up just a little bit, I suppose, going from a Widowmine drop instead of tanks.
I mean, I like the Widowmine. I like drops in general on this map. You got the short rush distance from base to base. It's not going to take too long to get over there and get out. Whether it's a Warp Prism or whether it's a Medevac, I just like the idea of going for drops, period. But what I really like about the Widowmine drop, and we've talked about this so many times, is even if it doesn't do damage, as long as the Medevac doesn't die, that's always going to be like the #1 priority. And then B, it gets a little bit of scouting like it always should. That Widowmine drop is always like the best.
I agree. I love the Widowmine drop as an opener. It feels safe, even though technically, actually, when it comes to frontal all-ins, it's not as safe. But for like the sneaky things, like it comes when a Dark Shrine is just barely finishing, that type of deal. It's always nice. It's actually one Widowmine drop.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It does get in a spot that's going to disrupt mining a little bit here for DnS. Nothing too dangerous, but...
Oh, you made a mistake, son. You made a mistake.
Well, this is going to die. He also did see a surprisingly large amount of stalkers. He sees a chrono boost on both the Robo as well as the Twilight Count. So, I mean, again, MarineLorD got some very important scouting information out of this drop, and he got the Medevac out alive. So, again, very important detail.
So, absolutely correct about the chrono here, and just the amount of blink stalkers. So unfortunately, he didn't scout like that, you know, there wasn't a third being taken right now. There's nothing to see that. So he doesn't know that it's going to be a 6-gate blink stalker, heavy pressure, shall we call it. pretty all in here. And his units being on the front like this, not sieged up, not with a bunker, it's probably going to go very poorly.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to siege now, but even then, like, shuffling around, this is going to be difficult. There's a Warp Prism on the high ground for vision, funny enough, so that will let Stalkers just blink up. Snatches up that tank, though, almost works like a point defense shown in that effect, but picks off the other medevac fort. So still, this would deny the third. It's not going to be able to take that anytime soon. Now realizing the situation at hand, a bunker's on the way, but it's probably too far out. It will provide a little bit of area that's hard to get past, but I mean, as we see, it's a bit of a freebie. As he walks on forward, blinks on top of the tank, picked up once again. MarineLorD with his quick skills to pay the bills, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Marines while this goes on.
Yeah. If they had Stim or combat tools, like either one, I think this is a really big mistake. Without it, it still is questionable, but remember that DnS has 6 gateways to warp in, and he is using those warp ins right now, even including a couple of Zealots because he's a little low on gas, and also just going to tank a lot of shots. MarineLorD's about to have +1. But, you know, losing that tank, losing by half his Marines is pretty big.
You know, on top of Blink, he's going to have the Warp Prism to mic around with as well. The army supplies are really not that different, and the SCV count isn't that bad. He's got a 3rd CC. This is not over yet for MarineLorD, but he's in a pretty rough spot because killing the rest of these Stalkers is not going to be easy.
I like this attempt to kind of sim city here to stop the tank from being focus fired, but DnS blinks over top. That might have been a mistake. He wants, like, you have to actually get the tank in order to make that blink in worth it, and he missed it. A second tank's on the way now, and I think that might have just solidified MarineLorD's position as the winner in this game.
Hold on, Mothership Core.
You're odd. You tried.
Time warps to recall. So this is like the worst.
Did he F2?
Yo, look at that graphic bug though. What's going on with that?
He might have F2'd and then realized at the last second.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's looking like a backstab time warp. Like, gotcha.
Okay, there's something I really got to stop in chat, though, because it's been mentioned, and I know it's trolling, guys. MarineLorD and DnS are both punished for actions taken during WCS, but I want to make it very deadly clear. MarineLorD's never done match fixing and has never been accused of match fixing. And that sort of dumb shit is going to get you banned in chat, because we don't want rumors like that spreading. And I'm saying this vocally on stream because I want everyone to know that that is just dumb shit and a complete misrepresentation of information.
Indeed.
Okay, so while this attack does continue, I mean, MarineLorD, I guess the thing that we always have to remember is, like, that 3rd CC is not just additional LCVs, it is the Mule, and it's helping out a lot. Unfortunately, this was his, like, little, we'll say, advantage, in air quotes. DnS now taking his own 3rd will start overtaking him if he can't actually secure his 3rd shortly. Widowmine gets a pop-off on the Warp Prism. That's going to spook it away. A couple turrets and Marines bordering the outside of his base. I mean, MarineLorD should be okay, and this, I don't think, should do that much.
MarineLorD is in a very good position, but DnS does have an opportunity. It's always so weird. English. Because I think if you enunciate the A, then you're supposed to say A.
Yeah, there's a sentence, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there's a sentence where if you enunciate each word differently, the same sentence reads like 6 different ways.
Oh. Well, anyway, he has an opportunity, and that's one opportunity to come back in this game after losing out because he dedicated so much to that soccer attack. And that is just by honestly playing pretty smart. So don't let drops kill you. Catch the push while it's coming and get your free pot shots while you can. Take advantage of the fact that MarineLorD doesn't have stim yet. You know, that is on the way.
When Blink Stalkers were the thing, like it was the only strategy to do for a while in HOTS, the coolest thing I ever saw, and I remember, was like MC is going for a Blink all-in versus Bomber, and Bomber just happens to move out as MC's setting up, kills him, and that wins the game so much easier than any other form of defense. Nowadays, though, as we see, like, the problem is not catching him, because there's going to be adepts. There's going to be more than just Blink Stalkers. This army is a little bit mismatched and pitch-podged. I don't know if you want to phrase it, but it's a mess in the middle of the map, and it's a bit chaos. The adepts do win out over the bio without a doubt, though, and this is going really badly for MarineLorD, who was up like 30 supply going into that.
DnS did everything that I just mentioned. I mean, kudos to him. He caught them while he was still in transport. He caught them without stim. If you have stim and the adepts go on top of you, I mean, there's only Blink Stalkers left over right now, and that's actually something that MarineLorD can deal with pretty easily. But still having all those adepts, actually warping in a couple of sentries as well, MarineLorD has to take this seriously, and I'd likely spin down bunkers. I don't think it'll be broken, but we'll see. The stim's done now, and the tanks they have that position they should have. You know, when they're pushing out. DnS is gonna go for it. A little spread apart, actually, a little bit weird. A couple of Stalkers being warped in on the backside. The 2 tanks, though, not being targeted. The SCV's dying regardless. The bunkers have finished up, however. And once again, we had a bit of a just a mishmash of attack here for both parties.
Yeah, the Liberator's doing great for defense, but I mean, MarineLorD lost so many SCVs, and this is not like the fight in the middle of the map where one person walks away with just a slightly smaller army. MarineLorD's economy took a big hit in this attack.
Down 20 workers is doable. His army is still good enough, and he even has upgrades that he'll be able to recover an L1. I didn't even. He took his main command center over to his 4th base already. That's actually pretty good. I think he still has this, but we'll see what Adepts can do. Oh, you know what? He doesn't have any medevacs. Oh, all of his army is just going down to like 1-shot, 2-shot range.
Right, and I was gonna say he pulled SCVs again too, which is never a great sign. His army is looking a little bit better when it comes to supply count, but it's not actually looking better here on the screen.
Yeah, if it was fully healed up, I think
he's got too few workers at this point. He's pulled the boys one too many times, and now we're in this situation where even if he comes out of this with like 30 army supply to 0, he doesn't have the money to keep this game going forward.
Yeah, I think that might have just been too much of a snowball here. Maybe if the War Prism wasn't here either, he would have been okay and would have had time to recover. But the War Prism with instant reinforcements starts warping in those Adepts to really tank a lot here. Giving up the 3rd base and consolidating would probably have been a better move. I mean, he's not even mining from the 3rd base right now anyway. I really want to get that War Prism. It's too bad. Doesn't get it. Would've mind sniped. Medevac's doing their job now, though. That's what the Adepts, they gotta go on the front lines.
Command center being lifted is probably going to start burning soon. Actually, maybe not. Just going to keep fighting that army. I mean, I'm keeping an eye on these numbers right here, and it's been surprisingly close, but again, it's that point of matter where DnS has got 3 bases mining. Well, 2, because the main's mined out, but still, he's mining pretty comfortably. MarineLorD's got mules, and that's cool, but mules will not win out over this much of a supply difference, I feel. But look at the resources lost, look at the trading. I mean, it's impressive to see what he does with so little. Imagine if he had more.
If he could ever consolidate, or if he had got that War Prism, because that just warped in 6 more Stalkers, I think he actually does win. Bio is just better than Blink Stalkers, and once the Adepts are gone, DnS has to fall back. So that's exactly what happens here, but there are those warp-ins. Again, like, so close to killing that War Prism not a minute ago.
It's a lot of Adepts coming in. That command center needs to land so it can repair. It also needs to get a mule over there, because I don't think there's any SCVs left at this point.
Yeah, It's been such a close, almost hold every single time. If he had like a Widow Mine just like walking across the map to deny DNS's 3rd base mining, there's so many tiny things that maybe could have led to this. But MarineLorD, he took one bad push in the middle of the map. That's what started all of this.
Yep.
And that's really what could have gone much better.
Oh, GG gets called, and DnS will take game number 3, giving him a 2-1 lead now in this series. Quick reminder that of the 2 players, I believe DnS is the underdog. I'm just going to confirm since I was wrong about Daishi earlier. Yeah, DnS, Denver, and Clem were the players who came up from the underdog league to play in the top dog round of 8. So this is good for the underdog once again.
The next map is going to be Dusk Towers.
Cool. We had a couple more follows, by the way. Thank you to Jan La. Thank you to Civiz. Thank you to Arc Zombie. Michael Shkodo? I can't see it, doesn't it? It cuts off. I'm sorry. And then Oscar Hoigberg. I'm sorry if I said any of those wrong, but I don't know how to pronounce umlauts at all. But 12 away from 8,000. I'm so close. Thank you guys so much. All right, getting into game. So in other news unrelated to StarCraft, I guess Legendary Leah got banned on Twitch for 30 days, which I found really interesting because my newsfeed is now full of people who are arguing for, obviously, and against the ban. And what's interesting is I don't know the reason because we're casting and I'm looking at a glance right now, but it looks like it was like a clothing related thing. And this issue has been brought up so many times on Twitch because they've got the rules in the code of conduct, like what you should or shouldn't wear. Like, don't wear pasties on stream, for example. No showing your nude bits.
Is that not obvious?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but I think it's interesting because I know that she is one of these streamers who's gotten away with a lot of the risque stuff before. There's like whole gift sets of her like doing this, that, and the other. So it's, on one hand, it's a little bit scary, but it's kind of cool to see Twitch take a stand on it. Like, this kind of reminds me of like WCS taking a stand on MarineLorD and DnS. Like, Twitch putting their fist down, saying like, look, no more of this. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, sure.
I like when rules are enforced. That's all. I don't know. I'm a nerd. Leave me alone. Dusk Towers. We'll see you guys soon. So by the way, it was right around, I'd say now yesterday, that my computer pooped out. So let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Oh.
Especially here at the end of the cast, just like yesterday.
No.
But I'm just bringing it up to be cautious and be wary. But anyways, game number 4. He is down at the moment, and he might have to deal with some shenanigans. It's an early probe. In the top right side of Dusk Towers, it is going to be the blue Terran player, MarineLorD, representing Millennium.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, is DnS.
So it's funny, at BlizzCon last year, at the, I think it was, I want to say it was the Twitch after party. I don't remember which one it was. But I remember getting pretty drunk and talking to Funka and Lilbow, and we both had a discussion about like how good we thought MarineLorD was and how good he's going to be doing like in the future, you know, all this good stuff. And it sucks that, you know, he's had this situation fall upon him, but people are asking like what the situation is. So to explain just briefly, MarineLorD, there was a ladder challenger qualifier for each region recently for DreamHack WCS Spring Championship, aka DreamHack Tour. And the way that works is players, the top 16 players in the ladder would be invited to play a tournament to determine who actually goes through for an invite spot. Allegedly, and I say allegedly as if like there's no proof, but Blizzard's ruled on this, so I say allegedly because I don't actually know the situation fully. But TLDR, MarineLorD helped, I think it was DnS or one of these other players, just win an extra game or two by quickly leaving so that they could get into the top 16. Blizzard found proof enough that they were willing to say, nope, this is not okay. We got to put our fist down. We got to rule that this is, we got to set a precedent that people don't do this in the future. So not only were they banned from this one event, they can't play any WCS events until like July 30th or something like that, June 30th. I don't know the dates. And all points earned through WCS up to this point have been stripped away. Basically, there's no real chance we're going to see him at BlizzCon, which really sucks because he's such a good player. Like that's for me. Like I hate that it happens to somebody like this, but the precedent needs to be set. The rules need to be enforced.
Yeah. I mean, disregarding the Korean match fixing, a lot of the other situations that we've seen people banned or barred or temporarily, you know, not allowed to play have been kind of just like, honestly, like stupid, you know, like not actually intentionally harming anyone, or like, you know, corrupting the scene or whatever you want to say, but just like, for instance, wanting their friend to be in a tournament when they're already in the tournament. You know, like, you know, who does that harm? I'm already in, you're facing me, so whatever. You had, I mean, the whole Gung Fu thing, like, so long ago.
Oh, gosh,
You remember that? Like, him just being stupid and, like, you know, having the chat log. And then on equal parts, the guy he was talking to showing the chat logs and also getting... not banned, but
I mean, there was
talked to.
There was another instance of win trading a while back. If you remember, it was like the two Chinese players. I want to say it was like Ayasunu and someone else, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't really remember who it was. But the point was they were only banned for like a small amount of time, and it's from events they couldn't even play in anyways because they're from China. So there really wasn't a punishment for it. There really hasn't been punishments. So there was no fear of something like this happening. Now, with how severe this is, I don't think there's any player who's gonna like. They're all gonna think twice at least before doing something like that. And
it really, it's silly though, like how, you know, until something like that happens where they really put their foot down, is it just a, you know, what does it matter, you know? And then someone actually is like, no, don't do that, and you're like, oh right.
Yeah, and I mean,
I did bad.
StarCraft has been the Wild West for a while. You know, not even just in terms of WCS, but like smaller events as well. You know, we had things. I guess I don't want to cite everything on a case-by-case basis, but we've had a lot of instances where people question like, was that okay?
Yeah.
And I just, again, I'm a fan of the rules in the first place. You know, I don't even like people cut in line. You know, that sort of deal. So I mean, I'm really glad to see that stuff's happening. Anyways, we're getting to this much more than we need to. We got 3 barracks coming down, a 3rd CC, like greedy build compared to no factory. And I just brought it up because people were legitimately confused and I guess hadn't heard the news because it was pretty big. It was a pretty big deal. So
yeah, I really could not believe the whole stripping of WCS points up till that point. Honestly, that was really what was like, oh shit, like damn. Not that like they had like, you know, thousands and thousands and it was, you know, difference, but still, it's pretty big. Anywho, as you said, just like it was a very slow opener regardless. So this is the perfect time to talk, you know, about. You know, with current events, I suppose. And then it's finally starting to get interesting as we have Sim finishing up and Blink finishing up and third bases.
Useless. Do something. So with the Warp Prism not having been scouted, it is worth noting it's only Blink. There's no Resonating Glaives. There's no +1 combo with this. This could be a little annoying for MarineLorD because even unupgraded Adepts are still a danger, but it's something he can easily handle because of his early barracks production. He's got so many Marines. But if he's looking to push out, as this Warp Prism pushes in, he's going to have a bad time.
Yep. Don't do
actually
that.
It's kind of the story of that last game, too. At least the way it came to an end.
I guess until we have medevacs, and they are on the way, that each stem is going to technically kind of hurt MarineLorD here. And with high vision given by that observer, this is worthwhile if his blink is on point. So far, DnS blink is pretty on point. Of course, Sim was done. Yeah, so the chase loses him a couple more units.
But as he heads back home, he can't afford to keep stimming to move around. Those medevacs aren't out yet, so if you want to find yourself getting one shot by the Adepts, stim a bunch. That's one way to get yourself killed. So he's sparingly stimming. He only stims a portion of his units. I like that choice. Stalkers come back. He wasn't expecting that, so has to emergency stim the rest of his units, hurting him even further, but he does drive this back. And looks like the Adepts have been, for the most part, dealt with. So MarineLorD loses about 6 SCVs and has to temporarily lift off his third, but all in all, he holds that pretty nicely.
He does. Once again, having a sim up here, I mean, he's really taxing his 2 medevacs, but he's getting more medevacs. That's actually a key to note for once.
Yeah, the juice.
Yeah, because we have seen a lot of games where the Liberator follow-up came too quickly, basically. Like, you know, they wanted safety and Liberators too much, and they did not have enough medevacs to heal.
So I've never noticed this. Medevacs don't heal at 1 energy. Like, it's 4 health per 1 energy healed. But they don't actually heal anything unless they have 5 energy.
Okay, yeah, I think I knew that.
I mean, it's such a non-important detail. It's just interesting because I never realized that's the case.
I think it might have been different from medics back in Brood War, because with medics, you can have this odd situation where they gain 1 energy, they heal. They gain 1 energy, they heal. They gain 1 energy, they heal.
See, that's how I assumed it would work. I mean, it just makes sense that way.
But when you think about how often you've seen your dry medevac heal, it actually is not... It's not that stuttering that it happened in Brood War. It is interesting, though. Like, I would not have thought about it until you brought it up. Just like I never thought about, does a lurker... If you run into a lurker's spine, do you continue to take damage?
Yeah, like, can you get hit twice by it?
By the same spine? Like, I've never thought about it, but...
Yo, I really wish... I know it'd be too overpowered. It'd be too broken. It'd be like a free medevac. But, like, I really wish they'd give Caduceus Reactor the ability to heal 2 units at once.
They're never gonna find a useful thing for that, I swear. The turbo one is kind of cool. We've seen it, like... 3 times, I think. But, you know, obviously still not used.
Okay, well, he's going to get on top of this 4th base, which is going to be pretty nice. So that's going to be a nice snipe there. It's cancel, so not a kill. But regardless, MarineLorD should be able to get out of here. If the Marauders want to take a fight with the Stalkers, they can certainly thin that herd, and there should be no danger to picking up and flying away. But as the game progresses, DnS is heading towards Colossus. So 2 at a time, and this is something that's a little bit scary. I think a big part of this that makes this so frustrating is, like, I think for most things in this matchup, it's pretty, like, one step than the other, right? Like, okay, you go Stalkers, I go Marauders. You went Marauders, so I went Charge. Like, there's a lot of, like, easiness to do there. Liberators and Colossus really changed that dynamic up, though. Ooh,
it was such a...
Warp Prism in the main.
It was just such a curious answer, because the counters is never quite a right word, but it is something that we saw in response to Liberators.
Solution sounds like a...
Yeah, sure.
It's word.
The Colossus is the solution to the Liberators, and then the Tempest is, like, I guess, the true counter. But also, just like sniping them before they're ready.
Yeah, just catching the Terran army off guard can work too. Force fields go down, and he will drive this back. But every time I see Colossus in play, I always think back to, again, like Maru and Heart of the Swarm, right? Like, you just focus fire them down with the Marauders, take that bio army to the next level. You don't need Liberators. They obviously will do very well, but you can work without them.
I mean, technically, back in the day, you didn't need, you know, Liberators or Vikings. Vikings, such a thing in the past. But I think that dynamic really changed, you know, with the inclusion of Adepts. You know, you could easily run into a Blink Stalker army covering a Colossus army and then come back out, as long as you snipe the Colossus. But the Adepts and their tankiness and their, you know, being on the front line seems that it's really complicated that side of the play. Because he also was the one that was dropping on top of Colossus and whatnot. But anyway, I think a concave still works out pretty well if you have that high Marauder counts. So DnS taking engagements in this position always look kind of questionable.
No focus on the Colossus initially, so they get a lot of shots.
But I was gonna say, like, he just has a good army. So even though, like,
It's
getting into that concave was like, I don't know, his army wins through it anyway.
it's getting to that point too with MarineLorD where he may have lost a little too much. Like his army supply is really taking a huge dive. Now he doesn't have enough to split off to the main. You can certainly hope Liberators hold that front line, but there's gonna be a blink that comes in and takes care of this maybe. The Adept's just gonna run around and be annoying, and SCVs are going to bleed out. What was this transfer though?
A questionable one.
It's like an F2 transfer.
Yeah. Another big part we didn't really talk about during those engagements were the upgrades, by the way. So, I mean, you know, just 1 versus 2-1 for DNS has been pretty brutal. As he said, like the actual snipes and the Colossus weren't going down, and just in general, there wasn't a big enough army. You know, when I consider that you go for Colossus, I usually think that you're just gonna have more bio. You know, like you're gonna have more units compared to when people try and go for Colossus. But that didn't happen here. MarineLorD, I think, was at best only an even army supply, not more. Oh, ring doorbell. Ding dong.
Well, +3 weapons is also another factor we don't see a lot of. We've talked about with the Disruptors being a little bit more popular in some matchups. They don't need upgrades, but the Stalkers will benefit from this in a lot of ways, certainly, but the Colossus will as well, which are already performing pretty admirably, but +3 is going to make them pretty nasty to deal with. It is so weird to hover over that weapon upgrade and see like 14 damage for +2. But again, that was like a 20% nerf going to Legacy of the Void. Now the Stalkers are blink forward. That means they're going to eat some Widow Mines, and DNS, we'll see if he can take this fight. It's not looking good to start, though. He just kind of walked in and gave away a lot to those Liberators, but at the end of the day, the Colossus end up being the superior force, and this is what we meant by the solution. Like, they just deal with the bios so effectively that the Stalkers can willy-nilly go underneath the Liberators. They can take care of them. There's no threat. There's no issue. Blinks forward, takes it out again. MarineLorD on his last legs here in this game. Let's not forget, this is the end of the series. GG.
GG.
And congratulations to DNS. Another underdog will make it to the round of 4, aka the semifinals here in the Top Dogs tournament. I'd also like to give a thank you to Kush King 1387, subbing right there at the end of the game. Also got some new followers again, so thank you very much to Alex Losi and Lance Allen. 7,990. I'm 10 followers away. So we're at the end of the cast. If you guys enjoy my cast, I never advertise myself, so I'm gonna do it here. Like, if you enjoyed the cast today, if you want to see more, if you want to keep up to date with BaseTradeTV information, I'm the first person to tweet about anything we do on the channel. Follow me at Riff_Kings, RIF_KINGZ. I'm 10 followers away from 8,000, and I would love to hit that number today. Please help me, guys. But Zombie Grub, any final words from you? Any comments before we leave?
Follow me on Twitter at CG Gaming and on Twitch, ZombieGrub.
Man, I gotta give shouts again, like, before we go to Denver. Like, really, the coolest thing I've seen. The thing is, it wasn't even the coolest thing today. It's like the coolest thing we've seen a Zerg player do in a long time. Like, it was just really, truly standout awesome. So, if you guys missed the clip of that, again, it's on SC2 Highlights. We'll have the full VOD up on our YouTube probably by the end of tonight. We got all the DreamHack qualifiers up on YouTube now. We have Matcherino from yesterday. The nice username has been doing a fantastic job. So youtube.com/BaseTradeTV for any of the VODs you're missing if you're not subscribed to the channel. But of course, if you are subscribed, you got access to our VODs. You can watch them here and now if you'd like. Zombie Up, thank you for joining me. Shout out to our sponsors as well. Chairs for Gaming. If you guys like DX Racers, the chairs we're using, then do us a favor. And if you're in the North America and you want to buy one, make sure you use promo code BaseTradeTV. You'll get $20 off your purchase, as well as free shipping and handling, which is always good news. Save you some cash over there. Corsair Gaming. I'm hoping, I don't know if they're going to be at DreamHack. I should actually ask if they're going to be at DreamHack Austin, because it'd be cool to see some of our sponsors there. But headsets are awesome. We just had somebody tweet about them today. We retweeted them. Wow, the way the light's reflecting off my floor, I feel like I'm telling a ghost story right now. Gather round for the Midnight Society. But yeah, so Corsair Gaming is awesome. Scroll down on the channel if you want to see those links. G2A, you guys know the deal. Buy games, get them cheap. Use code BASE. That way we get some cash and credit for your checkout. And then last but not least, the Yord tournament is coming up after DreamHack. I can't wait to announce it. It's going to be so much fun. But I think that covers everything. Other than that, tomorrow make sure to come for the Ting of the Hill. I'm not misspeaking. Ting. The phone company Ting will be sponsoring a King of the Hill tournament. So it's $750-something in prizing, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's on the Team Liquid thread. We're going to have Scarlet versus Neeb to start the day. Neeb is the player picked up by Ting, and they're hoping he walks through and kills everybody in that bracket. But we also have Huck and Bales and Drunken Boy, and it should be quite a bit of fun. So it's like 4 best of 5s. Same, almost same time as today, an hour later. But Crazy King gets us up with an 18-month resub at the end of the day. Let me make sure I didn't miss any last-minute donations either. Nope, we good. So I think we'll just end it here. So we'll play some commercials to end the stream. I will find somebody on Twitch to raid. We'll give them a host, and I hope you guys will go spam them with some BaseTradeTV emotes. But other than that, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.